Hello and welcome to episode number 93 of the Huddersfield Town Social. After a set of decent results and everyone in good spirits, you know with Town that a screw-up is just around the corner. And Town delivered true to form on Saturday. We all skipped down the road to South Yorkshire, hoping that nearly 5,000 fans will be rewarded with a swashbuckling display to cement our place in the top two. What actually followed was a spectacle akin to looking round a Wetherspoon's toilet just before closing time. We saw an absolute horror show from Owen Goodman gifting Barnsley a goal early doors, followed by his best Bruce Lee impression on David McGoldrick, meaning Town had a mountain to climb. Add to that a heavily deflected goal and a ref determined to give absolutely everything to Barnsley, and it just wasn't going to be, was it? 3-1 it eventually finished and bragging rights went to the Tykes. Are we concerned, or are these just early bumps in the road on our way to League One domination? Tonight, the transfer window slams shut. Will Alves is already through the door, but no big striker yet. Have we done enough to challenge for the top two, or are we still short? I'll be your host tonight, Nick Barlow, and joining me tonight is Ian Kilroy, Gazkay, and Stephen Shepherd. Hiya, guys. Welcome to everyone that's joined us so far. Michael Bottomley, hello to you, mate. Good to see the social back after your holiday breaks. It's good to be back, mate. And Steve Braceford, hello to you. Terrier Jack, hello as always, mate. TMT 2024, Daz, evening lads, evening to you, mate. So, where do we start? A lot's happened since I've been away on holiday, since you guys couldn't be bothered doing a show. We've got about 15 games to discuss. So, I think let's do Blackpool first. And I guess for some, I think this is probably my fault because every time I go on holiday, Huddersfield Town are determined to make me fucking miserable. So every time I go away on a Saturday in Town are playing, I think this is the 9th year that it's happened where I've gone away on holiday, Town have gone on to lose. I looked at the phone about 7 minutes in, whilst he's scoring, I'm thinking it's going to be a nice easy win this at a team that's really struggling. And then about 20 minutes of madness, it's 3-1. I'm thinking, what the chuff's going on? But look, you guys saw more of it than me. So, Ian, let's start with you, mate. We'll do a very quick run through of it, mate. I mean, where did it go wrong? What happened?
Do you know what, Nick? 7 minutes in to that Blackpool game, honest to God, I'm sat there thinking, this is a piece of piss, this league, isn't it? We're going to be champions by Christmas. 136, what's maximum points you can get? I can't remember. But it was a bit of a change, actually, for me. As a Blue and White member this season, I'm getting my tickets with Blue and White supporters, obviously. And I tell you what, it's a bit of a different experience, guys. I'll be totally honest. The people I was sitting around at the Blackpool game were a little bit less loud than everybody else was come the final whistle. But with Blackpool, I don't know. I actually thought we started so well. But it was probably the first time this season where things went a little bit wrong for us in a very short period of time. And everything fell in on itself, didn't it? We had guys falling out after obviously going 1-0 up and getting back to 1-1 and then 2-1 with a couple of tiny little errors in midfield. We weren't tracking back as we should have done. We weren't following the runners, but it was nothing massive. It was just, it all went wrong at the wrong time for us. I think it's a little bit easier sitting here now, 5 games later, talking about it. It's not as frothy. But the game itself was pretty all Town until obviously they got the red card and then managed to hold on till half time. And then second half, really, Town struggled a lot. And I think something that we'll get onto later with the Barnsley game, in that we had a lot of people there at Bluefield Road, whatever you call it now. And I think it really makes it a bit of an issue that under excessive pressure of big fan base, Town still might have a couple of mental problems. And I think that's what you saw in that Blackpool game. Looking at it now, I actually don't think it was that poor of a performance overall. There were things we did wrong. There's things that League One has to learn from. And to be fair, I think it has since then. But the game itself wasn't that bad. It was just 15 minutes of fucking madness that we never recovered from. And it just wasn't. It was a great morning. It was a nice time at Coral Island, wasn't it, Steve? But then by the time we got to the second, after the game, it felt very, very different. I think it was the first dose of reality that we were given as Town fans this season, Nick.
Yeah, and to me, it just looked like we'd been bruised in that second half where I think them going down to 10 men was a bad thing for us because it allowed Bruce to do what he does best. Gaz has got his phone out. Have we got a Kev standby?
We've got a Kev standby. exactly
Mbappe,
50 seconds ago. I'll keep checking it. You keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think strangely, I think if they keep 11, we're probably going to win. I think it just allowed them to sit back so deep that we just couldn't break them down, could we? And I think it was just one of them games where you've got to hold your hands up and say they did well to hang on with 10 men. We work quite on it, and if you're not quite on it, even in League One, you're going to get punished, aren't you? And it was so disappointing. Jack Watmore, I think, made a mistake, didn't he? And he hasn't really recovered. He hasn't been put in team since, has he? So I don't. I mean, he's obviously played in the cup games, and actually, yeah, I thought it was incredible. Really, at Sunderland, I thought he did really well, but for some reason, he ain't been selected in the league. But yeah, so we lose at Blackpool. But then Donny on the Tuesday, we didn't start well. First half, Gaz, poor. Didn't get into game really. Donny playing some decent stuff. But I always say, the sign of the team in the top 6 or even top 2 is when you're not at it, you stay in the game. You stay in the game, don't concede. And then Taylor and Walsey come on. I knew Ian would be absolutely over the moon because they changed the game, really. And we get, the 2 goals. And actually on paper, it looks like a routine win. But by all accounts, Gaz, it were anything but, wasn't it?
It really was, and I think the first half against Donny was like a 45-minute replication of the 15-20-minute madness against Blackpool. If they brought the shooting boots, game would have been outside at half time. There'd have been no recovery from it, and that was obviously similar on Saturday as well. And I guess it's probably a symptom of a new team. They're still gelling. Looks like we're about to up to, is it 13 if it's Redmond that's coming, 13? I mean, that's a lot of turnover, and it's a lot of players, a lot of signings. So you're going to get some of that. I think I was pleased to see that Grant identified that, yeah, he wants to play out from the back, but also the players have to know as well, don't they? We just continue to try and fucking play it out for the back, and people are pressing high and pressing early on us, and that's been causing us some problems. But and we're unique. I think my view at the end of it was we didn't play brilliantly, but we found a way to win. And in the end, I actually thought it was a deserved 3 points against Doncaster. I know Doncaster don't agree, but I thought it was a deserved 3 points. Really, I thought that, on the end, and that is a good sign. I guess my big concern, I know you're going to come to Barnsley, but is that at both Blackpool and Barnsley we've conceded 3 goals, and all 6 of them really were a piece of piss for the opposition.
Guys, I just want to jump on that there, though. You are right in what you're saying about Doncaster, in that it was deserved by the end. But as you mentioned, we all know that you can't play like that often because you get pumped eventually. You get absolutely smashed, and then it's a total different thing. I really feel that Doncaster game was somewhat of a warning for what happened against Barnsley, to be totally honest. I know it's a bit of a difference, home versus away, but the Doncaster game, you can't afford to start like that. But I just felt like it was the changes that we went into that game with was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction from what happened against Blackpool. I thought like I say, Watmore's been brilliant. He made one mistake against Blackpool, and then he were out for a couple of games. And they just felt like it was such a knee-jerk in that it were actually just a 15-minute spell against Blackpool that wasn't right. The tempo wasn't right in that second half. And again, tempo was off. I don't know what it is at the moment with this Town team. I feel like these things that are good all over the starting 11 and the squad of about 38,000, if there is another standby from Mr. Nagle and someone else is coming in without anyone else leaving. The squad's massive, but it's just tempo seems to be a recurring theme in this very, again, embryonic stage of the season. And I felt that's what happened against Doncaster. But when we did make those changes, which is good from an inexperienced coach, he's learning, he's adapting, we did win that game deservedly. But there was some warning signs in there, and you just hope, or we hoped at that point, we'd learn from it and change going forward. But that Doncaster game is, like you say, guys, it's one of those wins that if you are going to win the league, you have to have a bit of luck at some point when you have a poor performance and you get it done. And it was nice to see that happen, because for Town, at the end of last season, it was the opposite, wasn't it? You'd have a decent 20, 30 minutes and then fall apart for 20 and we'd be 3-0, 2 or 3-0 down and the game would be over. It was just nice to see that didn't happen this time. That even though we weren't great, but for a long, long period in that game, we made the changes, we made the adjustments and came back and won, I won't say handily, but we won fair and square in the end.
I wouldn't say it was tempo, Killer, and I think you were saying on Saturday, really. I think it wasn't tempo. It was just, perhaps people not learning their own lessons. I guess we'll come to Barnsley in a bit, and I think for me, Grant showed second half on Saturday that I think he took some lessons from Blackpool, because when we played the Blackpool, once we went down to 10 men, we just did the same thing. All the subs were like for like, and we kept playing the same way. Nobody took a shot from 30 yards, didn't stick a big man, didn't stick a centre half up top. So, yeah, I think, as you say, I think after that, to win 2-0 against Donny after the first half with Donny shows a bit, shows some cojones, which I'm pleased about. The players look like they actually have got something about them.
Yeah, and like I say, it's a sign of a good side when you're not quite at it. You come away with a result, don't you? And then, Steve, we go to Stevenage game, and it felt a bit like a chess match, really. Two sides, decent. Stevenage, obviously, really good form, right up at the top. Bit back and forth. But again, when the chance comes to May, he hits it, comes back out, but he doesn't panic, does he? Takes his time and puts it away. And to me, I thought that was a game. I was really pleased with that performance, because it was a game we looked in control. We never really looked like we were going to concede, did we?
No, to me, that was the bounce back game from the Blackpool upset, really. We sort of got away with it against Doncaster, in my opinion. They could have easily been 3-0 up at half time and would have all been in pub by half time, then ruined like we were last season. Oh, we've gone back to this. But no, that performance was much better. They were quicker with the ball. Down the flanks, I thought Ruben played really well again. They'd all had a good kick up arse. They were much better in that game, and a fully deserved win, in my opinion. Just we should have had more goals, but 1-0, you take them, don't you? So
I actually still think that's the best performance of the season. I love the Stevenage game. I thought it was a technical, tactical battle. It wasn't the most exciting when you're looking at entertainment, but like you say there, Steve, it didn't look like we were going to lose this game. It looked like, again, guys, as you mentioned about Blackpool, everything we did wrong way, passing sideways and boring, kind of backwards and sideways without a clue, no kind of, when I say tempo, just no urgency, no drive, no risk taking. It's all kind of a bit safe, like the game's going to come to us if we just hold possession. The Stevenage, I felt like we're changing entirely, and that we were trying these nice little passes, these nice little inside runs, nice little triangles in the right areas. All we did was just play about 10 yards narrower. Right when we went into that final third, we weren't just putting it into the corner flags, which we did against Blackpool. We tried to play a little bit further towards goal. And to be fair, I think Joe Taylor had a chance, didn't he, where he should have had a shot earlier but he didn't in the second half. I think there were moments in that game for Town to win by more than one goal. In a game that was pretty nip and tuck against, at that point, the team that were, the best team in the league, if you're looking at where they were on the table going into that game. So the Stevenage game, I thought, was really, really good and showed quick growth from where we'd struggled against Doncaster, where we struggled against Blackpool. It really felt like we started building something at that point.
It's encouraging, wasn't it? Because when you do have a defeat, you lose one, you win 2 or 3. That's how you win championships. And if you lose 1, win 2, you're going to be right up there at the end of the season. So, yeah, I am with you. And I really enjoyed the fact that it was so controlled, professional performance, and it say routine win, but against a team who's banging form, I thought we were really, really convincing. And then we go to Sunderland away. You're thinking, well, it's in the cup. It doesn't really matter, but you don't want to be humiliated. You want to put on a good spectacle. Made the changes. And Castledine scores certainly one of the goals of the season early in the game. And then Sunderland grew back into it. But I thought we defended so well in this game. I thought Watmore was exceptional. And even when we conceded late, you think, right, Sunderland's we're really going to be hanging on. But actually, right at the end of the game, it was us at the other end, pressing, creating chances, trying to go on and win it still. And penalties, really composed, really encouraging going forward, especially if we have to go to that dreaded Wembley playoff, because you know what's going to happen there, don't you? So it's, yeah, I mean, what a goal, Gaz, from Castledine there. It's absolutely exceptional, isn't it?
That's right. Rather top draw, wasn't it? I think soon as it left his foot, you knew it was going right in the top. And so did he, by the way. He'd already, I think he was halfway to the corner flag when it hit the back of the net. And I'm with you. I tell you, impressed me on the night, and not just because of the penalty shootout, Nichols. And I think that's part of the reason why after we conceded, we didn't go a bit. Nichols was really calm, kept the boys calm that were in front of him, took his time with it, as he loves to do, took his time with everything, and made sure that we didn't do anything stupid to allow them to score a late winner. Because, you know, we looked tired. The lads put everything into the game, and they were up against some Premier League footballers. So, you know, they were going to be tired towards the end, and I thought they weathered that storm brilliantly. And it's always a lottery penalties anyway. But, you know, I think Nichols' calmness throughout that last few minutes saw through the pen. So, and I think it's starting to bring perhaps the best back out in the fact that he's now taking fiddle, but recognises it's to a lad who's probably going to go on and play in the Premier League. You know, he hasn't lost his place to Chapman, has he, with respect to Jacob Chapman. He's lost it to a lad who's probably going to go and play at the highest level. So yeah, that was another one really where, you know, I think like, in the grand scheme of things, are we going to win the cup? No, we bollocks. But we've now got a really tidy home draw that'll probably sell quite a few tickets, generate a bit of revenue for the club, which is what we need, innit? We need some money. Want some more money in the coffers. Big Kev spending money like it's going out of fashion. So, you know, it was a good night all round. I didn't go. I don't know. Andy Kay went, best town fan in the world, who's not here, by the way, because he didn't go to Barnsley though, did he? He was in Crete. Is he in Crete or Cyprus? Cyprus, so it is. So yeah, it was a great win on that, and I guess for the guys that were there, I bet it was brilliant for the fans. So well deserved for them.
I still can't believe we've only ever lost 3 penalty shootouts in proper games. It still blags. It absolutely blags me. It's so we had 15, I think. I'm trying to refer back to Lee Morris on the Discord server somewhere. I think we've had 15. I think we've had 15 penalty shootouts and won all of them bar 3, which is phenomenal. An absolute great return. And honestly, David Wagner's German football will be forever a part of our club just because of how composed we are when it comes to penalty shootouts. We look unbelievable. We look fantastic. Honestly, it's like watching Man United versus Grimsby the other night, which was an absolutely fantastic game. And again, if I'm taking Town out of the equation, my favourite game this year will probably be that game. And even if Grimsby would have lost on penalties, I'd have still enjoyed it because Amarim hiding in the dugout when Grimsby were taking their penalties was a top moment for all football fans. It was beautiful to see. I just love seeing that defeat when English football does you. When you grasp that Division 4, Division 5, whatever tier you want to look at, that's what can happen because it's so competitive and it means so much to everybody at all levels of a football club, from the CEO to the players to the kit man. It matters, right? Those moments are fantastic. But when Grimsby made it through to penalties, every time they stepped up to take one, they looked a little bit shaky. They looked nervy, right? But with Town, you just don't get it. You just don't get it with our boys. When our boys stand up to take a penalty in the 2 penalty shootouts we've seen this year, and just in general, since David Wagner's been here, we look like we know we're going to win the penalty shootout. And I'm a unique. I think everything in that game was good, but I do think winning a couple of penalty shootouts, when more than likely our season will go down to a penalty shootout, is really important. And it was just another. It was another tick. It was a really good win. We were there year before last, weren't we, guys, watching Town beat Sunderland when Bergsorg, I think, got the winner, didn't he, in a 2-1 win? Hellick scored the other one. So I didn't go for that reason. I've already been there, done it. But it was nice to see us win another penalty shootout. And again, I think that'll hold us in good stead for the rest of this season.
Yeah, definitely. And what I really liked was, I remember Lee Grant saying, we spoke to the players and the players said, we want a good cup run this season. We actually want to go forward in the cup, which you look at previous seasons. I mean, our record in that cup competition is probably one of the worst in the country. It has to be. We're pretty much always out first round. So you can't blame the fans for not being bothered, really. But a good cup run breeds confidence, galvanises, gets the fans behind you. I mean, I'm not bothered about this that's coming up on Tuesday, I have to say, but League Cup, decent, and we've got Man City coming. It's going to be a great occasion, isn't it? And that's what it's all about. And then, so we move on to Saturday. So all that gut feeling, so we'll park that now, and we'll move on to Saturday and Barnsley. And Barnsley, I'm never confident going to Barnsley. I know we won last season at Barnsley, but it's one of them places where you're just never confident going there. And I did think this could be a bit of a potential banana skin for us, because Barnsley are a decent side. They play good football, especially at home. Their own form's been very good so far, although it's still early doors. But I just thought for minute one, we come out so slow, lethargic. Barnsley have a really good chance where Goodman makes a great double save. I don't know I think the second one might have been offside, but it's a great double save. And you're thinking, right, well, that'll give him some good confidence there, because he obviously didn't play during the week. So we can kick on for me, but we just never seem to get going. And it's a simple cross. Goodman fumbles it, which 99 times out of 100, he picks that up and throws it out. And it falls straight to probably the worst player on the pitch it could drop to. Keeler Dunn, who just taps it in. Thank you very much. And we're 9 minutes in. Steve, goal down. And you're thinking this could be one of those days here. Although it's early, I'm thinking, I don't like the look of this.
Yeah, there was something not right from the start, was there, to be fair? We just didn't look as we had done when we bounced back against Donny and Stevenage. They were, like you say, it were far too slow. They were waiting for passing out from back and doing it. It was just like, what? Oh, yeah. There were definitely something that didn't feel right. I don't know whether they'd had different orders not to, push on to them and let them, they were home team. Maybe we were supposed to sit back and soak up some of the pressure for a bit. I seem to think the ball always has to go through Kane at the moment, that I've sort of picked up on. And how deep he comes, and then they're trying the little passing out. And from the first 5-10 minutes, you could see the writing were on the wall that we were in for a long, tough afternoon. The way that just the mentality, and then obviously poor Goodman has a bad day, doesn't he? And he just sees red and just. I don't know what he were doing, to be fair, because ball's going out, wasn't it? We're going down line. There were no I've watched it about 10 times and I still can't get my head around why he's rushed out 18, 19 yards to kung fu the poor lad. So yeah, and as soon as that happened, that were it then, wasn't it? They were up for it, and we won.
Yeah, and I mean at 1-0, even when it's 11v11, we start to get back into it. I'm not saying we didn't dominate or anything, but we did have a couple of half chances. I think Wiles had a chance, Lowe had a chance at back post. If one of them goes in, it could be a different game. But like you say, Steve, Owen Goodman has made a mistake there for that goal. So what do? You sit back, you keep it nice and calm, you don't do all stupid. You just grow back into the game slowly. And I've no idea what he's doing. McGoldrick's far wide. He's not. There's no danger at all. There's a covering defender. He comes charging out, and you knew about 10 seconds before he got there he was never going to get to the ball. I thought it looked a bit harsh at first to me. Of the angle I saw it, I didn't see him connect. So I thought maybe he's just gone. It's not that bad a challenge. But then looking back on it, it's an obvious red card. It's as easy a red card you're ever going to see. It's an absolute moment of madness, which, when your keeper basically gives them a goal and then gets sent off and you've got another, 60 minutes left, you're always going to be struggling, aren't you? Can you guys think, why on earth has he done it? What was he trying to do? I don't get it.
It was just a rush of blood, wasn't it? I think he's a young lad. I mean, the goal from behind the goal didn't look great. Seeing the replay, it's even worse. I mean, he bounces up and it hits him in the chest, but for some reason he turned his body to play it back out. I mean, he should have just tested it back where it came from. There was nobody. I don't know what he was doing for the goal. I think he's probably trying too hard then to make up for it. So he's gone absolutely steaming out. The ref couldn't fucking wait to get. I mean, I'm with you, Nick. It was a red card, and second he nailed him. I said to the bloke in front of me, he's in trouble here, and so it proved. But the ref couldn't wait. And the ref, by the way, the ref isn't the reason we lost the game. He really wasn't. But fucking hell, he was absolutely terrible. My personal highlight, I had two really. One where Sorensen won a header and the Barnsley player wiped him out, so he gave Barnsley a free kick. And then when Rowan flattened somebody at the edge of the box, he waved play on. The ball broke back to, I think it was Luke O'Connell, who just stopped the ball and went like that, stood with his arms out. So referee gave free kick. I've never seen all like it. Barnsley basically ref the match for him, but that's why you've got to keep your head about you. And I guess that that's the good thing is we've got Nichols to bring in, haven't we? We're not absolutely up against it now by losing Goodman. Keeping Nichols. A lot of people, including me, thought he'd go in the summer, and keeping him in the squad and keeping him about. He's definitely think, Neil Eccleston has gone to Grimsby. Let's hope that wasn't the standby. Oh, that's right up there. We don't go to bed just yet, innit?
Imagine.
On Goodman, I think
Meltdown.
The mistake with Goodman's mistake, I think you have to catalogue it with passing out from the back mistakes that are going to happen this season. We will get caught passing out from the back. Now, his other job is not just to pass it out from the back, it's to play it out quickly. If you look at him, as soon as he gets the ball, generally, he's rushing then to get it out, to get it back into play so Town can attack while the other team aren't set. That's a game plan with Goodman. And when that happens, when you get these crosses, you make more mistakes like this, I think, because you do take your eye off the ball because you're trying to look at the next part. You're looking, right, what do I do next? What do I do next? And that's why we've got him in over Lee Nichols. That's why he's in the starting 11, or that's why he was given the opportunity first. Up until now, he's been really, really good. I don't think anyone can question that. I think he's got one of the best kicks I've seen at Town. Alex Smithers is my favourite. I used to love the way he used to back kick it a little bit, so it drifted nicely. But Goodman's distribution is good. But this is what happens sometimes if you're looking and focusing on the next part. He's a young lad as well. He's not played that many games. He's been at Colchester, been at Dons last year. He's only his third proper season, really, of senior football, yeah? And you're going to get these mistakes. And last year he didn't make very many, 25 clean sheets, some sort of record, no doubt, in that division for a team that not many people fancied before it either. They didn't score too many goals, so he had to be perfect because defensive work is why they ended up getting promoted. When you made a mistake, like you say, Gaz, you try and correct it. You try and prove yourself a little bit more. You go in a little bit more eager. You're trying to make up for it. And when you're an outfielder, it's a bit easier, isn't it? Because if you've made a mistake and cost a goal, like Karoma did against Leyton Orient last game of last season, but then you go up there and score one yourself, you kind of can justify it like, okay, I've bollocks that one up, but I made up for it here. Keepers can't do that. And I just think he's rushed out in front of the fan just to kind of show, no, I do care. I didn't mean to make a mistake. He's taken out the oldest man in the world, I think, still playing professional football, apart from that lad in Japan who's 57 and playing in Japanese League 3 or whatever it is. But he just didn't need to do it. Tim McGoldrick, of all people, like I say, going absolutely nowhere. It's stupid. But again, just as we talk about Lee Grant making managerial decisions that I think some of us can question and he's learning from it, you've got to expect the same with Goodman. In that he's now playing for a big team in a division where they should be at the top, as in Town. If you're looking at everybody in the league, we're expected to fight for top 2. That's a very different mental proposition than what he faced last year with Wimbledon as well, in that they weren't expected to do as well as they did do. So they're playing with a little bit less pressure. For a young goalkeeper to be the guy when Lee Nichols is behind him, like you say, everyone knows how good he is, and he'll feel that as well, Goodman. I feel like this multitude of factors kind of played into that little error there. And it's just Town. This is what we're like still in parts of this season already. There's little moments, little 15, 20-minute spells where we just kind of lose our heads, and I don't know why we're doing that still. I kind of wonder if it is a hangover of last year and 10, 20 games down the line. It's not the case. It just feels like we're still a little bit over-eager to have games play out the way we want them to do. And if something changes, we've got individuals and groups of individuals within the team that's just struggled somewhat. And I think this was Goodman's turn for that little blip. But he'll be out now for what? Is it 3? Will they get 3 games for that? So Nichols will be in for...
I think so, yeah.
So Nichols now has got the chance to keep his shirt, because to be fair to Lee Grant, he might rotate everybody else, but he hasn't rotated the keepers for league games. So maybe this is Lee Nichols' chance now to take the shirt for himself.
The frustrating thing, though, Nick, like you said, is I felt like we were slowly getting into the game. It slowly worked out that their fullbacks like to stand on the halfway line, and there was a shitload of room down either side. We managed to work it out, and I thought, I mean, you were worried about Barnsley. Weirdly, I weren't, because I think against teams that want to play football and don't want to sit in a deep block, I always think we've got a chance in those games now. But that was the most frustrating thing for me, is that we were just getting into the game. It felt like the momentum was starting to swing our way as well. So it couldn't have been a worse time, could it?
No. And yeah, look, he's a young keeper. it's hard, isn't it? I don't want to get on a young player's back because we're going to need him this season. I do think mistakes like that, they do cost you. And I do feel sorry for goalkeepers because if a goalkeeper makes a mistake, more often than not ends up in a goal. A midfielder makes a mistake, you've got people can cover for you. And it's just one of them things. But down to 10 men, a goal down, you think, let's get through to half-time. Because if we get out there, get a set piece in second half, we might nick a draw. You know, as mad as it sounds, we're still in there. We've got good players on that pitch. But then corner comes in, Feeney heads it out straight to Connell, who I thought was the best player on the pitch. Rowan doesn't close him down well enough. He takes a shot, massive deflection, wrong foot's Nichols and in. And again, poor goal to give away, but a big slice of luck as well with a deflection. And I just said at that moment, it's not our day today. It's not going to be our day. And the timing of the goal was abysmal as well. Right before half time, it's you know, you're going in there and you're thinking, what's Lee Grant going to say here? He's got a massive job on his hands because at that point you're thinking, well, this could be 4 or 5 here if we're not careful.
The thing is with Barnsley, the thing that's really important with Barnsley to look at is their midfield is elite at this level. That's the worry I go into this game. And I thought beginning of the season, we wouldn't be facing Barnsley with the 3 of Connell, Keeler, Dunn and Phillips. I thought they've been linked with moves away. And obviously it's now 8:05 on transfer deadline day. And they're probably going to stay there. I think that changes the dynamics of how Barnsley will do for the rest of the season. But they've got a very, very good midfield. And the last thing you can do against good midfields, give them an advantage, a numerical advantage. And that's what unfortunately happened with Goodman. But with Lee Grant, like you say, I'm a unit. I thought we could have got pumped in that second half. We didn't. But then this is League One. We've played back to back. What, Tuesday, Saturday for weeks. I think Barnsley reserved themselves somewhat in that second half. When that second goal goes in, and like you say, it's the luck we didn't get against Blackpool. Barnsley managed to get against us. That's what happens sometimes in football, and you just got to ride it out. But I think you can say, okay, we're down to 10 men, and we did try still in that second half. But I don't think when you're 2-0 up at home against 10 men, you're going to put all of it in yourself in Barnsley. So I kind of, whilst it's a live game on paper in that second half, I don't think it is. I think Barnsley just didn't have to do too much to see it out. They're not going to do too much. So it wasn't too much of a wonderful managerial team talk for me to make that second half not too bad. It was just the way the game played. And it was done at half time on it. As soon as Connell puts it in the back of the goal off the arse of whoever it hit, it was over. It was game over at that point.
I thought that's a bit harsh. I thought Town did all right second half. I thought what I was pleased with was that actually when we won a few free kicks in the halfway line, we loaded the box up, which is definitely not a Lee Grantism, is it? You know, we were taking long throws, centre halves going up, trying to flick on a long throw. We've not seen that at all from Lee Grant. So, you know, I took that as a real positive that he's either learning or deciding that he needs to find different ways in different situations rather than doing like he did at Blackpool, where he might as well bang his head in the fucking dugout for the best part of an hour because it was what we did made absolutely no difference whatsoever. So I was actually weirdly encouraged by the second half performance. You're right. Barnsley probably dropped a bit deeper. They were quite comfortable, but we actually caused them 1 or 2 problems. And I thought Sorensen did really well when he came on. Although he made more of the game than Gooch had in the first half. And it made sense to rest May and bring Taylor on. I mean, it was always like for like anyway, wasn't it? But it made sense. It made sense to make the changes. And actually, I was reasonably encouraged with the second half. And you know, I was pleased for Taylor to get a goal as well because you know that's the kind of sloppy shit that we normally do, innit? It was nice to see somebody else do it. And Taylor, he went really wide, by the way. I think he was nearly he took when his first touch took him so wide. I thought, oh, he's cocked this right up, but fair play to him. He took another touch and then just calmly rolled it in. So. Yeah, I think I was weirdly encouraged with the second half. I know what you're saying about it not being, you know, earth-shattering, and Barnsley were probably playing within themselves. But you know, we mixed it up a bit, which was really encouraging to see.
Yeah, I took a few positives from that second half because last season that'd have been 4-0 easily, and it wasn't. We kept going. We didn't give up. They kept going right to the end. And the third goal, I mean, again, Nichols, he should have done better with that. He palms it straight out to Keeler Dunn. Again, just palm it. Just you need to do better than that. Game's obviously over anyway, pretty much by that point. But I think if we'd have got a goal early in that second half, I think Barnsley might have been stuttering a bit, might have been a bit tetchy, bit. You know, it could have. We could have still got, but we just didn't get the goal. And ironically, as soon as they score third, we then get a goal straight afterwards. But I'm glad he got the goal. It's just disappointing, isn't it? Because you want to get some momentum after those really good results in a derby game. There's 5,000 there gone to see that, and you just think, oh, it's typical Town, isn't it? When you get such big followings, we never seem to perform, do we? We never seem to turn it on. So, yeah, it was a bit of a tough one to take. I'm not sure about Barnsley. I think they play some good stuff. My reservations with Barnsley is the squad size. They've got some good players, but it only takes an injury or two, and they're struggling. And it's when you're 30 games deep into the season, when you've got Saturday, Tuesday, and players start dropping out, that's when the teams with a big squad start to come to the fore, which we are one of those. And I do think as the season progresses into winter, that's when we'll start to come on strong, and some of these other teams will start to slip back a little bit. But is it becoming a worry, lads? That's 2 games away from home in the league in concession that we've conceded 3 and lost. Is it becoming a bit of a worry? Or do you think this is just us trying to work it? We're only 6 games in, aren't we? So is this just us trying to work it out? I don't think he knows what his best 11 is yet, which is a bit of a worry for me.
He'll get there, though. Like you say, Nick, there's more games to come, and we've got a bigger squad. And I think, well, League Grant has spoken about this in the pre- or post-match conference. I don't know what they call them anymore. But he's spoken about it. At the moment, he's not quite sure what his squad is, but it'll probably get refined as he goes forward. I think it is an issue, though. I think you can look at, we've had 2 really poor results it's Blackpool away and Barnsley away, right? And both of them, we had a lot of Town fans there. We had we sold out Blackpool, 2,500. Was it 3,000 there? Big away day, big expectations from the away fans. And I'll be honest, atmosphere wasn't great. It wasn't great when it went against us. It wasn't as bad as it was last season at times, of course not. But to say we were doing so well, it feels like we're always on the edge of just, if something goes wrong, we've got a big away following. It doesn't feel like we're sorted just yet. And now, okay, that's only 2 games, right? But obviously we've got Bradford coming up shortly. And if Bradford is coming up and that happens again, that's 3 times you've had big expectations going to big derbies. And I know Blackpool's not a derby, but you know what I mean? It's an away game we expect quite a lot from. Is it a problem then? Is that when it becomes a problem? Because we know Bradford's going to be tough. And even if it isn't a problem now, does it become a problem then? In that, then all of a sudden people are looking at, well, when we take a big following, we struggle away from home. I think it's important to look at things like that. And obviously the only way you can get past that is by getting a good performance and a good result in one of those situations. But for me, in the 2 situations that we've had so far where we were able to put on a show for the away fans, because it is a very different thing, isn't it? We've had teams before where Town have been awful away from home, taken 20 men down to Cardiff and somehow managed to get away a win, like on a silly midweek night. We've had those kind of seasons and those kind of teams. Can this team now, do we have the right makeup in this team to go to your Boltons? That's another big one that we'll have at some point this season. It's those kind of games. And in the next 8 games, we're only out of Yorkshire once. I think that might be including Barnsley. But we've got so many games and so many big games locally. We've got to get over this hump somehow. And yes, it's only 2 games. It's not massive at this point, but it soon could become it if Bradford doesn't go too well next time up.
But on the other side of that, at least they are away games and we're not losing at home, are we? We ain't conceded at home. So that's positive on the other side of it. I know it is 2 bad results, but I still think we're winning his home games, and that's all that matters at the moment. Getting everybody back on side at home. I mean, we've had some good crowds at home as well, haven't we? I mean, they did say there were 17,000 there for Tuesday and Donny, but that might have been a bit over-exaggerated, but they are big crowds still. So if we can get everybody back on board, then it's just a case of trying a bit harder away, I suppose. But
yeah, and it's still early, isn't it? I'm worried about Bradford. I have to say, I am not looking forward to that game.
Me too, but I'm like you. I'm concerned because they're League Two, direct football, horrible in the tackle type team. You know, they will have an high press. They will be aggressive. So we're not going to be able to play around our box and fuck about with it like we have done and hope we don't get caught for 90 minutes there. And the crowd will be absolutely, they're red up for it. Although I've seen a few comments on Twitter, but I can tell you, this absolutely is their biggest game of the season, us block coming to their place. 100%. It's not for us, by the way, the other way around. I would suggest that Cardiff coming to us is a bigger game for us than them. But, you know, they're going to be proper up for it. The crowd will be proper up for it. I mean, the only good thing from Saturday for me with Barnsley was the fans stayed with the team. I thought the fans were great, actually, in the second half. I thought they really got behind the team and tried to give them some support. And I think Lee Grant's recognised that. And I guess that's because we're starting to at least build some connection. I think your point, Steve, about home games is a good one, innit? I think the home games are starting to become a little bit of a connection with the players. So that was a real positive. But yeah, I'm really worried about that. I really am.
Yeah, but let's not get too stressed out yet, lads. Because we've got Peterborough as well coming up. It'd be so town to lose that and then beat Bradford, wouldn't it? But I don't know. But yeah, I think the fans are sticking with them because it's chalk and cheese from last season. Last season, the team didn't look like they give a shit. They weren't trying. It was toxic. Now we know they're trying. Like I said, second half, they're still giving everything, even though the odds were against us. They kept going. They didn't down tools. They didn't give up. Their heads didn't drop too much, and the fans recognise that. You can see that, and the fans responded. And I think, you know, the fans are with them this season. A lot of fans are liking this side. It's just, I think we need to settle down. I were a bit disappointed I didn't see Watmore in that defence. I would have liked a bit more experience. I'm surprised Gooch played because he looked knackered to me after that on Tuesday. I would have thought Sorensen would have been better suited for that game, considering. But, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you get games where nothing goes for you. You know, I said it on my little vlog thing that I did, that sometimes you get games like this where it's just not your day and everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And as long as it doesn't become a habit, that there's going to be another handful of them games between now and end of season. We're probably going to lose 8 or 9 games, but it's how you respond. And if we go on and win the next 2 or 3, it's all forgotten, isn't it? No one's bothered. So it's all about how we respond. James Roberts here saying he thinks not getting a big like Stephen Fletcher-esque striker could be a bit of a mistake. I get what you say, mate, and it's nice to have a plan B, isn't it? The problem is you're trying to convince someone to come in when you've got May and Taylor, who are going to be starters. So unless we're playing with the 2 up top, which Grant doesn't seem to favour at the moment, they're not going to get game time. So you're trying to convince a really good, tall, big physical striker that pretty much every team in League One wants to come and sit on the bench. It's not as easy as it sounds. I mean, it'd be great to have one, but someone, I think Terry and Nigel, it was asked on Twitter, you know, what is our plan B? What is our current style of play and what's our plan B? So like we were saying, guys, they're passing out from the back. You know, what is that our style, to pass out from the back, invite them on and try and just play through them? That's great, but like you say, when you come up against a Bradford or a side that's just not, they're going to be pressing, they're going to be in the faces, they're going to be physical. What is our plan B? Do we have one, or is it just try plan A better?
Well, that's what it was against Blackpool, isn't it? We just tried to keep playing the same way, and it made no difference. Against Stevenage, we did at times go quite long early against Stevenage. You clearly picked out that May had the legs on their 2 centre halves, I think. And a couple of times we went quite long early doors in the first half, right from the back as well, not even through centre mid. So maybe that's part of it, Nick. Maybe he's fancying if we can pull a defence up far enough forward, there's legs in May and Taylor to get in behind with a long drop over the top. But it's got to be an Hollywood ball, hasn't it? You know, it's got to get over the centre half and not hit the keeper and give our striker to have a chance. But I'm 100% with James Roberts. I've been banging on about it for 2 seasons, really. And The only way you're right, Nick. The only way you do it is either by convincing somebody they're going to get enough game time, or paying them an absolute fortune. And with the money we've already spent, spending an absolute fortune on a bloke to sit on the bench. And I think Charles is probably ahead of anybody else we bring in as well. So you could even be fourth choice here, couldn't you? I just couldn't see it happening. I guess if this lad happens, is it Redmond, the guy from Villa? He's
a big lad, isn't he?
6 foot odd, isn't he? He's 6 foot.
Yeah,
isn't he?
6'3". Yeah.
But is he a unit with it? That's the question. Because I think you want somebody who's going to bash centre halves about. Me and Taylor, they're like angry little terriers nipping at people's heels out. They must be horrible to play against. But they're not going to put you into the front row stand, are they? Like a big centre forward would.
You just have to look back last year at League One and who got promoted, and every team had a big unit up top. They had that option from the bench. Wrexham had about 58 of them, as we know. Lyndon Dykes did it for Birmingham if they needed it. And Charlton had, I can't remember what he's called, big lad, for, what's he called? He didn't score too many goals, but they have that option, and we just don't have that just yet. Lee Grant's football is plan A, and if plan A isn't working, you change the players to come in and still play plan A, but hopefully the individuals change the games rather than a systemic change. And that's fine. If some teams do fine with that, if they destroy teams and they're so much better and plan A works and works and works and works, that's fantastic. But I think we've already seen, like you say, 6 league games. We've lost 2 of them. And against Doncaster, I felt we were lucky. So half of our games we've not been great in. I think it is important that we can somehow fashion a second kind of system. There's other ways to do it. You don't just need a big striker, though. The other option would be being wingers, I think. But we're not going down that route. I spoke about this before in that I actually think our second front three, so you've got your main man, number 9, and then the guys playing ACM right midfield and left midfield, or right wing, left wing. They're kind of all attacking midfielders now. I don't think, bar Ruskin, who obviously wasn't great against Barnsley at all, we don't really have wingers. We're all playing ball-playing midfielders to kind of have that nice little ticky-tacky passing, trying to unlock defences and going around the corner in the box. That's kind of what we're aiming at, really. And we've brought in 13 players, 14 players it might be. I think it's 14 guys if Redmond joins for some reason. I feel that's how it is. But that's a lot, right? You can't... we know how bad this team was last year and how much of an absolute culture change and personnel change it needed. I still think this takes 2 seasons to get right. I think it takes all this year to build something new, and then next year you tweak it, or in January maybe we tweak it. There's so many things that needed changing. It'd be nigh on impossible to get it right today, 1st of September, transfer deadline day. It'd be really, really difficult because so much needed to change. And I think we have to show a little bit more patience that we do with other managers, that most managers have come in and all needed to tweak 3-4 players to bring in a new kind of a system and a new style. But we've been through such a change. It's going to be very hard to get every signing right. And to do it all at once is very expensive. And we can't, I don't think any of us can question how much money Kevin Nagel's put into the squad. But it's just going to take a bit more time. And I think that's why I'm probably a little bit lower on where Town are at the moment than everybody else. It's not that I'm down on what I expect this season, that it won't work out. I just realistically look at it and think there's been so much change. To have everything ready to go, like the perfect plan B at this point, is unrealistic. And maybe that's what we look at in January. We look at, between now and then, staying in contention, working out what is working. And then in January, you can bring in those couple of guys that you know you need. A little bit better than last year when we brought in Taylor and Charles, to be totally honest. But when you can just adapt a little bit and not sell Hellick in January as well, that would have also helped. But it's just doing that in January, I think, is probably the best way for us to go now.
He's got time, though, now, hasn't he, to play with his players. Now the window's closed. You never even know. The Chris Packett might turn up, mightn't he? Played him
that's me, Charles, Steve.
I agree with you, guys.
There's people online asking for
there is,
a bit of
I
Bojan,
agree. I think he's useless. I don't think he's the man. But now that we can't dip into transfer and spend money, I suppose we can get some freebies, and people that haven't got contracts. But maybe one of them comes out and steps up, and he can work on a plan B now at training and maybe integrate him into the system. To be honest, I'd rather put him on than Charles, because Charles just runs around and he's shooting a bit better at Giants, wouldn't it, kicking conversions rather than having shots. So I'd rather have Bojan on bench, and that's saying something, because I'm like you guys. I think he's garbage. He's a Chris Packett, but he's something different. and we ain't got that on the bench, have we? Like you said, Killer, we're just changing the players in the same system and hoping one of them turns up and makes a bit of magic and we go on and win the game. But we do need some sort of plan B.
I'd be playing some of these just to put them in shot window. Do you know, like in Cup, like in Virtu Trophy or whatever that no one gives a toss about? Like, it doesn't really matter. I'd be playing one or two of them in there just to show other teams when it comes to January, maybe someone will come in from. Because the problem is we've still got quite a few of these players like Bolker that they're taking wages, and they won't be small wages, but we're not seeing them. They're not contributing anything. So if we get rid of some of them, we might be able to bring another striker option in, but we're kind of still hampered with like Ladapo. He's still here. We need to get rid of some of these players who just aren't going to feature, which again is easier said than done, isn't it? And I know
I can't see anybody coming in for them. I think we're stuck with them now for this last year. There's no way on earth somebody's going to come and buy them at this in January.
But that's where it ties into what Killer was saying, I guess, about, a 2-year thing, because like Ladapo's contract's end its season, hopefully if we can shift at least one of the others, it just allows us to just build a little bit more. I think, do you think Grant's been found out a little bit, Gaz? I don't know. Some of the fans are saying he's a bit one-dimensional. I think
the Blackpool performance is going to make people question the whole. Because honestly, after the red card, within about 2 minutes, I could see exactly what was going to happen. He was going to stick to his principles, and continue to play the same way and go that. And that's exactly what happened. And we got absolutely fuck all from it, which is why I was weirdly encouraged by the fact that on Saturday we won some free kicks on the halfway line, and they sent the 2 centre halves up to try and drop it in the box and see what happened. So I was encouraged by that. I think I never thought we were going to be champions. I've said all along, I think we're playoff material anyway. And I do think we are that. We're left with the Cartwright legacy of fucking Ladapo, and we tracked all season, don't forget, and fucking Bolker and fucking Radilovic. And, it's absolutely criminal the amount of money we're paying out to these guys who are probably never going to kick a ball again for Town. So I think you're right. I think if we get promoted, it'll be playoffs anyway. And I do start. So you talked about luck earlier. You're better off as a manager, especially a rookie. You're better off being lucky than good, aren't you? I do wonder if Grant's got a bit of luck about him, and I quite like that. And it is early days. It's early days for the coaching team as well. I like that dynamic. So has he been found out? I guess he will have been, because we've said this before, haven't we? Every team's got 47 analysts who watch every game inside out and back to front and upside down, and then give the manager 36 reports. So people know after a game how you're going to play, who's going to play where, and how that's going to look. And to press, Grant has just rotated like for like in terms of personnel. Hasn't changed the formation once. Saturday was a game of two teams playing 4-2-3-1, and I thought they did it better than us. We've gone about McGoldrick. McGoldrick will only play 60 minutes every game, but I thought he was brilliant. I honestly thought he was great on Saturday. So I don't know. I think, has he been found out? Probably unfair. I think it's different these days to how it used to be, innit? But I guess we'll see. We signed Championship players. Some of them have got to step up and make things happen during games, haven't they? And prove that we're better than the opposition, and it's not just about systems and formations.
Everyone gets found out. Every team gets found out at this point of the season. It's how you adjust to it. Either your players are so much better than everybody else, you get worked out by all those analysts, like you say, Gaz, but you can still ride it out because you've got a better team. That's what happens. But you are going to get certain games where the other team are just set up. Football's such an imperfect sport in that a team that can lose every single game by 1 or 2 because they're just matched up well against what you've got. And that's what happens in League One. The League One seasons aren't won at this point of the year. What you do at this point is you build the framework for a successful season later on, and you feel your way into it. We've had a couple of bumps, but overall we're so much better than we were last year. Look at Ten Hag today at Leverkusen, sacked after 2 games. 2 games. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. I thought he were awful at Man United, to be totally honest. I want to give him the job in the first place at Leverkusen, but 2 games is unbelievable. And now we've been a club similar to that, though, haven't we? We've been a bit of a joke when it comes to hiring and firing managers. So I don't really like this kind of talk from fans in regards to Lee Grant after 6 league games and 8 games in total being found out. Well, yeah, but I think that's negative connotations when you're saying they're being found out. It's like saying someone's legs have gone. No, the system Town are playing at the moment is somewhat limited because it's embryonic again. It's only a few games old. We've not worked out exactly how to play. He hadn't been here that long. When did Lee Grant join? It was pretty late on in the summer, wasn't it, before pre-season? So he's only had a few weeks to work on the grass, as you like to say, with the group. It's going to take a while for him to do it. The thing is, Lee Grant will be given that time. I think you have to get, again, to January, not just the team, not just for recruitment there, but I think us as fans, we have to sit here for a longer period of time to be able to look at what Town have done and how they've grown into this season by that point, because we've chopped and changed too much, as it's been found out. No more than every other team has. That now they've got 6 games to break down and work out where certain weaknesses are. But you have to remember, we've got so many more players and more or less every other team in this division that we do have the ability to change it. We haven't just got like Shrewsbury last year. They started okay and then got into November, December, January, and they've got no one they can bring in to change the game. That's when teams are found out, when they've only got a very small squad and they can only play one way. They're the teams that get found out and never adjust. We have the ability to change, even if it isn't a unit of a striker, although that might change in January. There's enough personnel for him to change the system. So no, for me, found out only as much as everybody else. That's not a worrying point. That's not a worrying part at this point.
Just got the message through that Town have got Zepikino Redmond on loan for the season from Aston Villa. It's just come up now. 19-year-old. I've got to be honest. I mean, we're going to talk about transfers in a sec. I don't know much about this lad, but it can only be a good thing to add to the mix, can't it? So we'll discuss that when some of us have had time to actually read through and find out what he does, what he actually brings. We'll discuss it in a sec. I just want to chat Ian a little bit about Marcus Arnis, because Gordon Dyson on X commented that he's not sure what his role is. So we were thinking he was going to play wide, but he seems to be inside a bit more. And Gordon were commenting that, often when Gooch had the ball, there's acres of space in front of him, but Arnis has come in more central and been marked out of the game, so there's just empty space there. What do you think Arnis's best role is? I mean, are we utilising him like we should be? Should he be staying out wide more and then coming in, or is he the kind of player that's going to be just constantly drifting inside?
He ain't got raw pace, has he? He's not. If he plays out wide, he's not going to beat a man for pace down that line. He's just not going to do it. That's not the kind of player he is. He had a really good end of last season at Derby, playing as the 10 in that 10 role. I actually think he could be a good option in there over Wiles and Castledine at times. I think we still play this weird lopsided system, which I'm not entirely bought into. I don't like having Ruskin on one side and Harness on the other, because I think you're very, very predictable. Now, if we were to change throughout the game and made it more fluid, I think that's something we could look at going forward, making ourselves a little bit less predictable. But I think Harness is, if Town play well, everyone says Harness has played well. And I think that's something that's really telling, that he's that crucial to how well we play. I think he's more important when it comes to attacking than pretty much anyone else. I like, again, I've spoken about it many times, how Ben Wiles drives the ball forward, but I feel Harness has got a real intelligence and he knows how to play the right ball. His stats have never been great when it comes to how many goals and how many assists he gets. But I will guarantee that if it was the assists of the assists or a couple of passes before the assists, he's as good as anybody in this division. He sees the game. He doesn't get the ball and not know what he's doing before he gets it. He's very, very clever. It's a little bit of a strange position for him to play, like you say, because he is wide right, and he's never going to be that wing. And I think sometimes fans really struggle with something that's a little bit unorthodox. And Marcus Arnis playing in that right-hand side role he's never going to be the winger. He's never going to be Van La Parra. He's never going to be David Beresford. I'm trying to think of some other random wingers from supporting Town, but he's not that guy. He plays inside. He plays as an attacking midfielder. It's just at the moment the only way we can get him into the starting lineup, I guess, is out there. But again, Town play well when Marcus Harness plays well. It's not about how can we change him to play in a different kind of role. It's how do we accommodate him even better than we have been doing in certain games. In that, if he gets on the ball, we're so much better. I think Gooch, like you say, Nick, and with you, I thought he's been tired because I tell you what, against Sunderland in his testimonial game, or what seemed like a testimonial game, he had to put some proper work in. I think it's going to take him a good few weeks to get over that. And I'd have been with you, I'd have had Sorensen in in from the start. And I think Harness plays better with Sorensen as well, quietly. But no, Marcus Harness is a player that's very good at this level. It's just that we've got to get him on the ball more in the right position.
Do you think we've got too many number 10s? How do you get them all in now?
Well, that's what we want, though, isn't it? I think that's pretty clear. I think looking at the start, looking at how the squad's built up, that we want loads of 10s because, again, we're not going with wingers. We're not going with wingers to cross into May and Taylor because they can't or they don't really win those aerial battles too much. So we're going to go straight down the middle with 10s. I think that's the game plan from what I can see, Steve. So it's more, have we got too many? Well, not for the way we want to play football. It's just that I don't think we've cracked exactly what we want just yet.
Yeah, it's nice to have options, isn't it? It's a nice problem to have. Whereas last season, we hadn't really anybody, have we? So, we've gone from one extreme to other. And, now when the injuries, because we will get injuries, we've got that many bloody games. We're going to get injuries left, right and centre. I mean, we've been quite lucky so far, touch wood, with injuries so far. But at least we do have players of similar ability to step in now, which we didn't have. And that's going to be a big positive moving forward. So let's get on to the transfer window then. So the transfer window is now shut. We've brought in another 2 players now, we know. So the first one was Will Alves from Leicester. 20 years old. He was on loan at Cardiff last season, and I think he assisted 3 times in 15 games, I think. He can play as a 10, attacking midfield, or sort of left forward position. Again, that versatility seems to be a theme here, guys, with the players we're bringing in that can operate in different systems, which is ironic because we only really play one system. But maybe, if we get these 2 in moving forward, we can change things a little bit more in game. It might allow us to change things and put 2 up top. I'm not sure. But listening to some of the Cardiff fans and Leicester fans, some saying he doesn't take a man on, he doesn't beat a man as much as he should. Others are saying he's got really low centre of gravity, has really great turns on the ball. So it's hard to know really what to think at this stage. But do you think it's going to be a good addition?
Yeah, I think the transfer window as a whole, you have to say it's been pretty successful, hasn't it? I was thinking about this morning, and it's a real good. We've paid fees, we brought in frees, we brought in some really promising Premier League loans. We've had 1 or 2 successes with that in recent years. Good blend of youth and experience when you look at the ages and the number of games played. And we've said this before, there's a bit of a theme that there's quite a few players in there that are Championship standard, have played at the Championship level or are capable of. I do think Grant's building a squad and a team to play football, play high quality passing football, and that's what he's looking to do, which is great. And Birmingham proved last year you can win the league by doing that if the players are of a high enough quality. But then Wrexham also proved you can do it by having big donkeys up front, being tough for 80 minutes and then battering the opposition for 10. So we'll see whether it works. I mean, what you have to say, whether I know people have varying opinions on. As Nigel called him, Mustachaline, which is still the best one-liner ever. Now, listen here, Mustachaline. You cannot knock his backing investment in this football. He has gone above and beyond this season. And he clearly believes in Lee Grant. They've done this without a director of football. I actually think we've got a better squad, a better shaped squad, and more of a plan without somebody in that chair. So I think everything's, you have to put in a big tick. I don't know much about these 2 new lads. I read up on Alves last week, like you, Nick, and I was encouraged to see he can play out wide on the left because we need somebody else because Rushkin's not it for me, and Miller's got knees made of balsa wood, hasn't he? So his knees are worse than Killer's, Miller. So
calm down, guys. Well, calm the shit down on that one.
Biscuit knees. Don't be getting all upset.
24th season of adult football I've walked into this year. We're 1 for
and
1.
You've played 6 games in every single one of those seasons, haven't you, lad?
Yeah, I've retired more times than anyone else. Played against Sean O'Toole. Sean O'Toole played last week. Sean O'Toole put a 90 minutes spell in for Firth Town against Sheffield last week. Unbelievable. To be fair to OT, He were good though, you know. He were all right. He still got it. We play 7 aside sometimes down at the zone every now and again. And he's all right, right? And they get him 11 aside. He's like something else, like prime Aaron Moy, pinging the ball around for fun. But
well,
no,
if you play 10, it's surprised we didn't pick him up as well, just to add to our collection. But no, it's a successful transfer window. Sorry, Killer.
No, you're right. With Alves, though, I think it's really important. Like with Feeney last year at Shrewsbury, if you go through his highlights, it looks terrible because Shrewsbury got no ball and just got battered game in and game out. And he's coming to us and Feeney looks great. And I think that's the same thing with Alves. I've gone through, as me and Matt will be doing a sign seal delivery episode on both of these signings, so I won't talk too much about it. But with Alves, it's difficult when you're playing for a team that's getting relegated as an attacking guy where you don't create too many chances to do too much and to get anything decent on tape. In that Cardiff had given up last year. They were pretty awful by the end. And with Redmond, I think he's only 6 foot though, guys. I don't know why we're talking like he's a 6'4" unit. I'm not entirely sure. He's 71 kilo, which isn't massive. He isn't big either. And he can also play on the left-hand side. So I think both of these guys could be a little bit of a knee-jerk here to play as left wingers if Ruskin isn't going to be the option going forward, or if we needed more options again across that front three. But again, with Redmond, where he looks really good, though, he's at PSV. He started 4 times for him. He played against AC Milan, I think, in a second leg where they were struggling for players and whatnot. And he did score a couple of goals in one of the cups. So if you look at his stats, I think it says he plays 4 games for the senior team without any goals, but that doesn't include the Dutch League Cup, I think, where he got a cup win, a 2-1 win. Who knows? There won't be much to see on him. We've seen loads of players come to us having played at the under-21s all over the world. And then when you get into proper adult football, it's very, very different. All our loan signings, though, this year, to me, make perfect sense. You're bringing in young guys, great reputations, all played at a decent international level, albeit at youth level. And they don't all work out. They won't all work out. But for the moment, they make sense bringing them in. And I've really not enjoyed it. I think that's the wrong word to put on it. But I understand what they're doing. And again, guys, I'm with you. We've had directors of football and we've made signings. And even at the time when it happens, such as Fred Ladapo, and Charles last year, honestly, bringing in Taylor and Charles when you bring in 2 guys to do the same job when we needed a different profile striker pretty clearly, it's never matched up. But everything that has gone on so far this year has. And that's really, really nice to see. I think that's why the fans are so receptive to everything on the pitch as well. Like you say, I'm used to. I think the atmosphere at home is better than away. I wasn't at Barnsley. I was at a vegan festival down in Stevenage myself this weekend, so I wasn't at Barnsley. But Blackpool, I thought the atmosphere wasn't great away from home. Whereas at home against Stevenage, where it were a bit of a fight, a bit of a scrap, everyone were kind of quite positive. And I think that's all because everyone from the outside looking in understand every decision that's being made, and we all know it's not going to work out perfectly every single time. You're going to have issues here, there, and everywhere over the course of a League One season. But I just feel like all fans are a little bit more educated this year and a little bit more calm. And I think that goes, and it should be appreciated that that's from the club out. I feel the communication from the club out, which we've gone over so many times, and we don't need to go over that again, is so much better and controlled this season. Maybe it helps that we're winning. Maybe that is a big reason for it. But whatever the reason, whatever came first with the chicken and the egg, whatever, it's so much better this year and it seems a little bit more controlled. But I'm with you guys. I think the director of football being the manager and everything making some sort of synergy there is really, really helping and is often underestimated by us as the fans.
Yeah, I guess, that Redmond on paper looks good. It looks like the sort of player a championship club would sign. My only concern about these players is, 19, 20, like you say, he's no Kiefer Moore, is he? He's not a big bruiser that's going to batter everyone out at way. How are they going to fare against some of these big ogres at centre back? I'm not sure, but look, it's more options. They're both versatile. They can play anywhere really across that attacking third. So to have those options when you've got players like Miller who are injured more often than not, it can only be a good thing. I don't think anyone can really have many complaints to this transfer window. We've signed 14 new players, all of good quality. I can't remember the last time we had so many signings of similar level quality. So it's certainly back Lee Grant. It's up to him now, isn't it? The thing is now there's not really any hiding place for Grant. If we don't make the top 6, to me, it's an absolute catastrophic failure. I know what you're saying, Ian, about having time to get. And I agree to a point, but the money that's been spent on wages, the depth of the squad, looking at what we've got to compete against, we have to get top 6 this season. And if we don't go up, and we've got in top 6 and then we reset and go again, fair enough. But if we finish 10th again this season, that's been a massive failure, surely.
Oh, that can't happen, Nick. Come on, mate. I reckon us 4 could do this job this year and get top 6 with this team. You've got Alfie May in it for starters. If he stays fit, there's no way this Town team... I'm not going to go as far as you, Nick, and make a stupid promise that I'll do something silly if we don't make the top 6, because I've learned from your mistakes before, Nick. But this team makes top 6. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I really... we are so strong when it comes to squad depth and talent and players that have done it. And like you say, it's not signing all the same player like we did last year. It's not like that. We're signing different players to do different roles. This team will make top 6. There'll be no doubt about that. It's just how we go at the end of the season there, Nick. And I just think it's such a big job that to expect it to go right. To win the league, you've got to start like a house on fire and crack on all the way through. You don't really feel your way into winning the league. You have to start off well and just crack on. Second's always a little bit different, but the playoffs are realistic for me. I said my prediction before the season was 5th, and I'm not ready to change that just yet because, again, certain games have not been great this season. I don't think we'll finish outside the playoffs, but if we did, Nick, you are right. I think it would be catastrophic, and you'd have to be questioning things. But it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This team's too good for that.
It's Huddersfield Town, isn't it? That's where that's where there's always that little shred of doubt. I mean, we shouldn't. You're right. Really, with that squad, we should be top 4 minimum. But you just don't know. We're not a top 2 squad. We're not a top 2 club, are we? We know. We just don't seem to have it in us. I don't think it's not been top 2 in my lifetime. I don't think we ever will, as long as they've got a hole in their arse. There's just for some reason we just don't seem to. We don't seem to have it. Even when the quality's there, it's that constant grinding of results, like we saw against Barnsley there. Teams just go and somehow find a way to get result, and at the moment we've just got too many blips in us. Now that might be ironed out. We might be sort of 10 games in. It might all click into gear, and we might go on a 15-game unbeaten run and be right up there. But I just think it could be a season where we win 3 and then have a stutter, and then we might win another 2 and have a stutter. So yeah,
Nick. Nick, the only thing that so far I'm really pleased with the points tally. If you'd have said to me, "We'll have 12 from first 6," having seen the games, I'd have been pleased. We haven't played anybody from down the bottom end yet, really, bar Blackpool, who ironically we fucking lost to. But we've got Peterborough coming home on Saturday, or we've got a point. We've got some games coming up in the next 6 or 8 weeks that really, again, we absolutely should and have to be winning. So if we can get a run on them and then do so well, I'm with Steve. Winning at home is a good sign, isn't it? If you win at home and draw away, you'll get promoted. So I do think that it's there if they can string it together. I still think we'll do the playoffs, but no reason why we can't be pushing for top 2. Sorry, Nick.
No, we should be, guys. We should be right up there. I don't know. We just, as a club, we just don't seem to have it mentality-wise. When push comes to shove, last 10 games, we just seem to have too many. We struggle in the big moments as a club historically. When all the fans are there, when it really matters, we stutter. Now, I hope it's different this season. I do. And I'm just going off previous years and what Huddersfield Town are like. I just don't think they've got it in them to be a top 2. But we shall see. I mean, I hope so. I don't want to go through playoffs again because they're a pain in the arse. They're too stressful, too expensive, booking me hotel, going down to Wembley. Although it'd be nice if old Bojan comes on 5 minutes to go, ready for those pens, Gaz, and puts that winning penalty away to take
Nice lad, giving me rods.
Yeah.
looking for me in sand.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You can't
ending.
miss you with them teeth.
Whoa, fucking hell, Ralph, you're okay.
I've been waiting I've done an hour. I've been waiting for a turkey teeth jib, and you've just set me straight up there, and I had to get that in.
I haven't been to Turkey, I've been to Warrington. So
Next best thing, mate. Next best thing.
It is, yeah.
Guy Bradley asks on Twitter as well, Goodman or Nichols going forward? What do you reckon?
Well, we've got no option. It's got to be
I
Nichols.
mean, for next week, although he is available for Tuesday. by the way, because it don't count. It's
Because it's
that
that
shitty
cup.
competition that nobody cares, so he can play. But for the next 3 league games, he's going to be out in it. So is it harsh just to say, right, that's it now, you ain't getting back in? I mean, is a young lad done well up to that point, or is it a case of it's Nichols to lose now?
I think he comes back in. I'll be honest. I don't think Nichols is Grant's man, is he? I don't think he's very with Goodman, like he says. He's come straight back in for league games. He likes how he plays it out from the back. He's good with his feet. He's just had one bad game, hasn't he? Bad day at the office. Very, very harsh, I think.
To be fair to Lee Grant, when Murray Wallace put in a shocking 45 minutes, he started the game after. I think there's a real push from Lee Grant that when somebody makes a mistake and somebody's not performed, apart from Jack Watmore, when they've not performed to the best of their abilities or whatnot, they're given another chance pretty quick to try and get them over it. And I think that's really, really important with young players, no matter where they play, but then goalkeepers even more so. Like we have seen with Ryan Schofield, not the only guys, but we've had a few, haven't we, keepers where they've come in, it's gone a little bit wrong, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I think, regardless of what I do or who I think the better keeper is, I'd be very, very surprised if Goodman doesn't come straight back in as soon as he's available again. But he should play. Is Hurl's available for Tuesday night? But I'm guessing Goodman will play then. If he's not going to be there for the next 3 league games, I'd expect Goodman to start on Tuesday to keep himself pretty fresh. But then again, with no international break or looking like we're not taking it, I still can't believe that of all our players, the only person picked for international duty is Dion Charles, right? He's unbelievable. That's nearly as ridiculous as the penalty starts earlier on. But no, I think Goodman comes straight back in because I think he's class. He's learning and he will make mistakes. But I'm with you guys. I think I'd be very surprised if he doesn't play Premier League at some point in his career. He looks like a fantastic prospect.
Palace know how to spot good kids as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Really that.
Yeah. I think it'd be very harsh for a young keeper just to freeze him out because he's made a mistake. I mean, what kind of message does that send? You've got to expect the odd mistake, and like I say, unfortunately, when you're a keeper make a mistake, it usually leads to a goal, doesn't it? So,
you get punished, don't you?
You do. So yeah, we'll see what happens out. But let's go on to some prediction. Then we've got 2 games. Ian, I know you've got your preview show, mate. But so we'll 3 of us can discuss. But we've got the Virtue Trophy against Newcastle's Nursery, under 21s. I mean, there's going to be wholesale changes for this. Some of our youngsters playing. Big Bojan up front, hopefully with Dion Charles as a front 2. Absolutely ripping them to shreds. Do we? I mean, I always say people always say they're not bothered about these competitions, and I don't care about this trophy at all. But what I do care about is winning games and getting back to winning ways. So I want a reasonably strong side for this. And looking at the squad depth, we're going to get one, aren't we? Any particular players you'd like to see on Tuesday?
No. Put all first teams in. It's a fucking joke. Under 21s teams playing competition. It's an absolute laugh. I hate it. I hate how the leagues are all set up apparently for the benefit of the English national team. That's a load of bullshit. We know it's a load of bollocks. It's set up for the benefit of the Premier League teams. And when you get players that play under 21s against League One teams, it helps them shift them on for loans or transfers later on. I hate the idea that any competition can have an under 21s team in it against us. I hate it, and I can't face losing one. So I'd put our first team out, teach him a lesson, and move on to Saturday. I just really don't like the under 21s being in the same competition as Town. Imagine us sat here on Tuesday night after the game talking about losing to Newcastle United under 21s after only a few years ago beating them up at St James's Park on second game of the season to go top of the Championship, and then the year after being in the Premier League. Yeah, I'm not for it. I can't do it. First team, Nick. Put the first team out for me.
I think it's an insult to the other teams, isn't it? And to the competition itself. And to be honest, I'd rather they open up to conference and get them teams in it, because they've got more to gain from that competition in terms of revenue than any Premier League under 21 side would have. I just don't understand it. I think they should do that in future. And at least then it'd be a bit more interesting. And actually, clubs might actually benefit from that. Clubs that need the money. But Gaz, have you any thoughts on it, mate? I mean, we just want to win, don't we, and move on.
It'll be 10 changes, won't it? Bot will come in and Cameron Asher will come in and Swale will come in. It'll be 10, 11 changes, I would think, which is probably right. I'm not really that interested. I think this is one of them competitions. I think if you get close to Wembley, then it probably piques a bit of interest. But beyond that, it's a struggle, isn't it? So just try and get through it injury free for me. I won't be watching it. I'll be in Scotland anyway, but I won't be watching it. So I'll catch the highlights at some other point in the near future. But the big changes and you know the point you've got though, Nick, is a good one, which is winning is a habit. So whoever plays, they're all full-time professionals. We should have enough experience, even in 10, 11 changes, to beat a team of under 21s. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Is anyone going to this or? That probably tells you everything, doesn't it? Really about the game, the competition.
I bet Andy Kay's going. I bet he's flying on from Cyprus just to go because he's #1 fan.
He'll be getting his private jet from Cyprus. Yeah,
we're doing his match diary all the way down, talking. Oh, it's a big one today. Under 21. That's what Andy will be at. Maybe that's why he's not here tonight. Maybe he's preparing for it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to Peterborough at home. Now, this is a game we have to win. There's no question about that. As Gaz said, we've got 1 point so far this season. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible form. Now, Town of old, I'd have said, we're the gift, aren't we? When a team's struggling, you go to Town, you get something. That can't happen after that performance at Barnsley. Surely to God, we have to go and make a statement there. To me, this should be 2 or 3 now. Simple as that.
And the
Steve?
rest. And the rest. I'm going 4-0. I think they bounce back hard. Peterborough is shocking, aren't they? I think he'll give him a right good G up. I think there'll be some young lads that get a chance tomorrow night, won't they? That Leo, Castledine and stuff will probably start tomorrow. Give them a shout for Saturday. So then there'll be Wilesy, your mate, will be pushed on his heels, won't he? If there's one of these lads turn up tomorrow night and have a game. So yeah, I think they'll bounce back. They should hammer him 4-0. No issues.
Yeah, I'm thinking 3-0 against Peterborough. Peterborough have only scored 2 goals. So, they've signed a young lad on loan today, I think, from Chelsea somewhere. They've signed a Premier League lad on loan, so no doubt he'll be chucked in at the deep end and maybe he'll make a difference for him. But, yeah, I've watched a couple of bits of them this season. They've been absolutely dreadful. I think they've even put Villa Capic to the bench and then put him back in again. I think both keepers have been as bad as each other. So and we talk about sticking to your principles. Darren Ferguson will continue to have them playing from the back, won't he? Because that's what he does. So the game, it's an absolute must-win game for me. But I think it's a game we can comfortably win. Just hope the players don't turn up with the same mindset as us lot, or that could be asking for trouble.
I'm not comfortable, guys. I'm not saying it's a bit because it's Town, innit? Again, this is a classic game that we would drop points in. Everyone thinks it's going to be a walkover. It's going to be really straightforward. Peterborough are terrible. They don't score goals. They'll get a set piece, 1-0 defeat, and everyone's fuming. I'll be furious if we don't win this game because we have to. If we've got ambitions of getting promoted, you have to win majority of your games at home, and this is one that we absolutely 100% have to win. If we don't win this, we don't deserve to be in top 6. It's as simple as that. We have to, because then we've got a horrific game at Bradford, haven't we? So we have to beat them. It's as simple as that. And then, win these next 2 games. That result of Barnsley's forgotten about. And you're going into Bradford with some momentum, aren't you? So we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. It's never boring Town, is it? But I just wish I'd like us to go on a run, 4 or 5 wins, just to get. We seem to just get a couple and then stutter, and I'd like to see us get a decent run going.
He's a young coach, though, isn't he?
Yeah,
we're gonna have these bumps in the road, like Killer said, but it's a different atmosphere down there. We're all on board, aren't we? It's not like when Duff or Moore were here. We'd all be calling for him out now, wouldn't we? Then, but
Do you know what?
it does feel different.
Town of Old, Steve. Town of Old, right? Would lose tomorrow night against Newcastle under-21s, and it'd be awful. Then they'd lose to bottom of the league, Peterborough. They've scored 2 goals. They've conceded 11. They look absolutely shocking, and it takes a lot for me to say that because I had them 7th on my preseason predictions. That chance that no one else has called me out for just yet, so I'm getting that in there now that I'm aware of it, and I'm sorry. I got
responsibility for it.
In the first game of the season against Cardiff, I think it was Cardiff they played and they lost late on, but they weren't that bad. And then they've just gone downhill, and it's just Ferguson really knowing it. But like you say, Ferguson, he plays his style, and no matter what, they get to points where they have to sack him, and they'll be back there in a couple of seasons again. That's just how it goes. So for us, I honestly think Peterborough at home could not be a better time for us. That's the kind of game we need, where you can put a few goals past them, hopefully, and then have a little bit more confidence at home. Get a few goals in May, Taylor, maybe even Dion won't be there, will he? Dion's away flying the Northern Irish flag. I don't know. I just think Peterborough are pretty shocking, and if we can't beat them this week, then like you say, Nick, there's big issues because they will come, they will defend, and they will fail because they'll try and pass it out from the back a little bit, and we're very, very good on the press.
I do think we'll. Yeah, I do think we'll win. And then if you can get something from Bradford, you've got Exeter and Burton in the next 2 games. So, good performance against Posh. Go to Bradford. Don't do anything stupid. Control the game like we know we're capable of. Don't do what's too stupid. Take a point or 3 points from Bradford, and then no reason why you can't take 6 out of 6 from Exeter and Burton. None whatsoever.
Are you saying we're winning 5 games in a row? Hang on, Gaz, are you saying we're going to win 5 games in a row there? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that the fixtures now align themselves up where we've got a little bit of a spell. Because immediately after that, you've then got Stockport, Luton, and Bolton, 3 games in a row. I mean, they're 3 massive games, aren't they? So you don't want to go into them having only picked up 3 from 9 or a 4 from 9. We really need 7 out of 9, I think, in the next 3 games, realistically.
We've got the squad though now, haven't we? Like we've been saying. I mean, I think it was you guys or might have been Andy a couple of podcasts ago said we've got players that are going to come off the bench. I fancy Alfie to get 2 come off, and then Joe Taylor to get 1, and then a random number 10. Pick which one ever you want for 4th. That's how good we are. We've got the class. Well, he's about to pick Wales. He'll have probably gone off though by then. We'll just faded away into the game.
I think
no, come back.
No,
it's all right. Again, there's only one of us on this podcast that have won anything being a football manager, and it's not the guys.
I won the under-9s cup last year for the kids. I'm a winner too. You're not on your own.
You're a little bit old to be playing under-9 kids, aren't you, Stephen?
Yeah, they run ring around me, mate.
He smashes them, doesn't he? Every
Way
time
too fast.
Look, I think you could count on one hand the number of teams that really, with the squads, would be seen as really dangerous for Town. But it's more about keeping switched on. Really, Luton, Stockport, you see Bolton and start particularly well. But I would say Luton, Cardiff, Stockport.
Cardiff aren't doing bad. They've surprised me. I thought they'd be worse.
Bradford, in the context that it's a derby, and all could happen. But over the course of the season, I don't see Bradford being in the top 6 at all. I just think Town have to keep switched on. They've got to keep going. They've got to show them the respect. But also, we've got to play our game. Forget what the other teams are like. We've got to concentrate on our game, what we can bring to it, and just go out and beat them. And I don't see any reason why we can't get on a run. But we shall see. We'll probably be sat here after defeat to Peterborough. Everyone's miserable as sin and we're back to normal. But I'm going to stay positive at the moment, despite the defeat, because I do like this team that we've got, this team spirit, and I'm liking the depth and experience. And I don't think players with that experience and quality will allow us to go on a slump like we did last season. I think we'll bounce back. Have we anything else, guys, to talk about before I wrap up? I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
No, I was wondering who's got all the Terry and Nigel's Twitter account. Is it Kev? Was Kev like acting? Or has he taken it over?
Why has he been positive?
Well, mate, hey, listen, he's right behind. He's a big LG fan. He's right there. He's nearly as big a League Grand fan as Andy Kay, if that's possible to believe. What was it somebody said earlier? Terry is. Oh, it was Andy that said it, actually. Nigel Terry's
His grass the nettle.
His grass the nettle. So,
Classic.
keep it going, Nige. I could be Terry Nigel in disguise for all you lot now.
We all rivet Ed. Who the fuck is Zepikino? That's it, mate. There's always, you always get extremes with Town fans, though. It suddenly, like, win a game and everyone's buzzing. They're great. We'll go lose a game and it's everyone's. We'll be lucky to get top 6. Lee Grant is shit. He's been found out, and it's just one extreme to other. Everyone just needs to chill and get behind him, and we'll see where we end up. And then we can all be fucking miserable when we finish outside top 6 at the end of the season.
10th again.
And on that note, thank you very much for listening, everybody. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for all your comments and pre-show questions. And if you want to come on the show, just drop us a message. Come on, because we want as many people on here as possible. We don't buy it's a piece of piss doing this, obviously. You know, if I can come on, anyone can, literally. So yeah, just drop us a message and get yourselves on. And yeah, here's hoping we can put in 2 wins, get that momentum back before we go to Valley Parade. But for now, guys, thanks for listening and up the Town.
There's a team that is dear to its followers. The colours are bright blue and white. They're a team of renown, they're the pride of the town, and the game of football is their delight. And all the while upon the field of play, thousands loudly cheer them on the way. Often you can hear them say, who can beat the town today? And then the bells will ring so merrily, and every goal shall be a memory. So town, play up and bring that cup back to Huddersfield. So town, play up and bring the cup back to Huddersfield.